This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're on Iowa. I am here with SITLER'S LED Supplies. Since 1977, this specialized lighting company is helping businesses save money and decrease energy usage from design to installation. I'm joined here with the President and CEO. Jason, thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
I'm going to start off a little bit about yourself. You're formally educated from University of Northern Iowa with a degree in accounting. For over 2 decades, you have led this organization of intelligent, caring, and competent lighting experts. You give back to your community and veterans as president of the Give Foundation. Share with me a little bit how you got started in this type of industry.
So the company, SITLER LED Supplies, was started by a husband and wife team who, Bill and Hazel Sittler. So they were, I call it serial entrepreneurs. So they started the company in the early 70s, and they started it as a specialty lighting company in a very niche market. So that's theatrical, medical, basically any hard to find type of light bulbs. We shipped all over the United States. Unlike today, we didn't do a ton of business in Iowa because of the market segments we were in. And in the mid 80s, they sold the business. They were in their late 70s to 80 years old, the Sitlers were. They sold the business to my father in 1988, and he ran the business till 2000 when he passed away. And like you said, I was went to school for accounting and economics, and I was working for Cargill, which is a big agricultural company, and took a shot at coming back and buying the family business, and we've been doing that for 23 years now. So
doing a great job of it. Obviously, you and your father, you guys expanded this company. It was a niche market they worked at back in the day. You now really have the lighting experts out there. Let me ask you this. Since the beginning of time, someone once said, "Let there be light." In the 1860s, fluorescent lights were invented. Edison developed the light bulb in 1879, and here we are today. And I can't think of a company out there that doesn't use lighting to some degree, whether indoors and outdoors. Is lighting kind of something we all take for granted, and yet it's a real necessity?
Well, a little bit. And so one of the things when people describe what we do, I say it's an item in a market segment that is that everybody's going to need, right? So if you're selling life insurance or all kinds of various other industries, you may or may not know whether a person's going to need the product you have. They may be already set up, and we're obviously in an industry with various facilities we're in that everybody needs light, and so it's definitely not a market or a product that's going to go away anytime soon. So.
Definitely so. In 1962, the light emitting diode was invented. Why has the LED really been a game changer when it comes to energy efficiency?
So there's various reasons. The main thing is the light output. And over the years, we started with LEDs. I mentioned the specialty nature of the business previously. We kind of morphed into the LED segment around 10 years ago in kind of the early adoption phase, if you will, of LED lighting. And since then, getting back to your original question, it's definitely a lot more efficient. So the power usage or wattage is significantly more, anywhere around 70 to 80% more efficient than traditional lighting. So that's the incandescence, the fluorescence, what they call high intensity discharge. So that's the metal halide type you see a lot in warehousing and parking lot lighting. All that is very inefficient, mainly because traditional lighting, as we would call it, more of the energy usage is put out as heat as opposed to light. Whereas in the LED, it's basically the opposite, where you get a lot of light output from the light emitting diodes versus the traditional incandescent type and the fluorescence. So it's significantly more efficient. The other main reason why it's been so successful and people have adopted it is it lasts significantly longer. So most LEDs are going to have a life, even into over 100,000 hours. So if you can picture that, in the past we've had specialty bulbs that may last 100 hours. for some of our projector bulbs or theatrical bulbs. And now you're talking about multiplying that times 1,000. And so when you have areas with high usages, maybe factories, office buildings, again, outdoor lighting that use high run times, it's kind of a no-brainer to go to something that's going to last significantly longer, be more efficient. And the other variable in the mix that I definitely need to mention is it's easily controlled. So you can dim the lights, they're instant on, instant off. So you have we've all been in a gymnasium, I'm guessing in the past, where for whatever reason, the lights go off. Well, it takes 5, 10, 15 minutes when they flip the switch back on for those traditional lights to power up and light the facility again. LEDs are instant on, instant off. You can dim them easily. So there's just a ton of advantages, and it's obviously where people are going to be going now and into the future.
Definitely a game changer. I remember back in the day burning your fingers on a light bulb. It was like having a heater in your room. We don't have to deal with that anymore. By 2018, LED light bulbs had become the second most common type of light bulb in commercial buildings. In the past decade, we've seen many countries begin to phase out the incandescent lamps. Are we now seeing many also beginning to kind of eliminate the fluorescent lighting as well? And why would you say that is?
Well, a lot of it is, if you in our local area, we have two main utility providers. So when they add more population, when more buildings are being built, the usage has obviously gone up, right? So they have a limited amount of power that can generate. We do see a lot of them go into wind and solar energy, other renewable energies that helps with that. But it's a lot easier and simpler to use something like LEDs that will decrease the overall usage, so they're not putting billions of dollars or hundreds of millions into these big power plants. And if you think about it, a lot of those power generators are hurting the environment, putting out a lot of material that we don't want into the atmosphere. Same thing with fluorescents. You mentioned the incandescent being certain wattages being quote unquote outlawed. We're seeing a lot of that with fluorescent lighting as well in certain states. And eventually I see that happening, nationwide. The other part that we get into in the past when we convert people is that fluorescents need to be what they call properly disposed of. So there's mercury and other hazardous materials involved in fluorescents that, if you were to break them and that particulate matter gets into the air, it's not quote unquote environmentally friendly. So LEDs don't have that issue. So the combination of the energy efficiency, greenhouse gas emissions, and then the hazardous materials that are in things like fluorescents, I think that's why we're seeing the advent of LED lighting.
Not only safer to the touch, more economical, and like you say, it's safer for the environment as well. I mean, your company for over 4 decades has been teaching, at least the last decade or so, that LEDs are cool before LEDs were considered cool. Have you become the go-to experts on all things lighting, really, because of your years of experience that led you up to the LEDs, would you say?
Well, that's a good question. I think the main thing, it kind of goes back to the niche markets that we covered before. So when people had a hard to find theatrical bulb 40 years ago, they knew to call SITLER'S, and we'd have a lot of experience in matching them up with the product they need. And we've kind of carried that tradition on to the point where a lot of the other people in the marketplace, what I would call traditional electrical distributors, they're selling all kinds of gear, all kinds of pipe, wire, things like that. And we only do one thing, and that's lighting. So if you're going to only do one thing and only have one product mix, so to speak, to your point, yes, you definitely need to have what I would think would be a greater amount of expertise and learn more about all the things that play into it, from specifying the correct fixtures, the correct wattages, lighting design, things like how light and the color temperature of light affect certain environments. So, you've seen buzzwords where areas don't want, even with our phones is a good example that most people, even if they don't know about lighting, would understand. When an iPhone comes out and they dim down at night into a yellower color. Same concept with what we're doing in facilities, because lighting has an effect on our melatonin, serotonin, different levels within our brains, basically our bodies, and that affects your mood, whether you're tired, whether you're energized. So we tailor that and bring that up into the environments, school districts, things like that, office settings, to best have the environment. Besides the efficiency, how do people feel, and how does that lighting make them feel? So extremely important, and things that a lot of people don't understand or touch on, that we would get into.
Definitely so. I mean, you definitely have to hire an expert to understand everything. I was a photographer before I got into television, and lighting is crazy. We're talking temperatures and everything else out there that affects you and the look on your business as well. Let's touch on a few of these products. Linear tubes, can lights, panels, high bays, floodlights. Are these just a few of the many your team can install as well as service for your clients?
Yeah, I mean, you touched on some of the products we have. When people ask me, obviously I call myself a lighting geek, right? So they ask, what type of areas do you cover? And my answer is anything that puts out light that you have, whether it's a residence, whether it's a car dealership, a parking lot, office setting, you name it, there's a lighting fixture, and as far as cost and value and ease of installation. So there's a different setup and a different product that we can show for various areas that are being lit up.
Pretty amazing how many different products you guys carry, a wide variety. Warehouses, offices, outdoor areas, even agriculture and sports lighting. I mean, there probably isn't any application your team is not lit up through the years. Is that safe to say?
It is safe to say. We get it, being in Iowa and in the Midwest, the ag industry is a very important part of what we do. So we do a lot of swine and poultry facilities, right? So you have, they have some free range outdoor stuff, but a lot of the products that are put on our table are from indoor facilities that are producing, pigs and chickens and eggs and things like that. And for a lot of those places, their lights are on, poultry especially, their lights are on 24/7 most of the time. For a lot of the hog facilities, when they have the sow facilities, their lights are on a long time as well. So they're very keen on how they can save energy. And, the other thing we haven't touched on is the maintenance, right? So you have, we've all seen, doesn't matter what facility we're talking about, whether it's your house or a hog building or an office, you kind of walk around, and when we're doing our energy audits, there's a lot of light bulbs out. And in some of these big office buildings and factories, we have one customer we help, they have one full-time electrician, all they do is change light bulbs. Well, now that we move into LED, they can put that individual to work doing various other electrical tasks. So it takes away from not only all the other advantages, the maintenance time, and having even lights that are all matched up. You don't have a light here that's out, or one that's yellow, one that's brighter. So it's just very, it's very win-win for all kinds of facilities.
Definitely. Lighting is definitely much more than functional. It also adds a mood and environment to any business. Your company has stood the test of time. So obviously it is more than just a great variety of quality products. SITLER'S is about personalized service. Would you say this is really job one, really getting to know the client's needs?
Correct. Yeah, I think the main thing we see in our philosophy, and it has been, I don't know if it's, I would think it's a nationwide philosophy for any type of business, but here in the Midwest, it's about relationships. So we try to understand whether it is a electrical contractor or reseller that we have, many people in that realm that are our customers. They use our expertise, our high inventory levels, our knowledge and design to make their job and their customers life easier, right? So the relationship aspect of it for us is extremely important. Everybody's always about saving money, and that's initially what it comes down to. But the neat thing that I see is when we do a facility, when you go back in and you start talking to their employees, the people that are running the forklifts or the office personnel, those are the people that I get a kick out of talking to, because they're kind of over the moon with, hey, we have great new lighting. We can see to pick the product, in like a inventory type racking system. They can see what they're doing a lot better. It's safer. So there's just a ton of relationship type things that we definitely focus on.
That is excellent. I mean, your staff helps businesses prosper in any way they can. I mean, when a company decreases energy usage with LEDs, I mean, can that truly affect the bottom line and save them money even as quick as next month? Do they sometimes see that right away, and are they pleasantly surprised?
Part of our process is to provide a financial template, basically, right? So we gather utility bills. We know how much they're paying per kilowatt hour. We talk to them about their runtime and their usage. We have an idea of, when we're doing our energy audits, what the existing wattage and load that they have from their conventional lighting. And then we obviously know what the LED wattage is. So, at that point, it's just a matter of extrapolating that in some type of financial spreadsheet, if you will. So to your point, it's literally that once the project is installed, it's like flipping a switch, and they decrease their usage from day one. So it's definitely something that is that it doesn't happen over time. It happens, the day that they make that changeover.
So we're talking about wattage. You can crunch some numbers, show them right there in black and white what you guys are probably looking at. They're probably pretty excited about that. I mean, with a variety of products to choose from and personalized service that is really second to none, would you say it is all these factors as well as a low price guarantee that really separates you guys from your competitors?
Yeah, it is. Like I said, the relationship, the thing that I always really enjoy is, and I don't care what industry you're talking about or what, whether it's what you folks do with getting the word out and interviewing people, it's word of mouth, right? So if you provide somebody a good experience, whether that's an end user, a factory, a car dealership, a resident, a farmer, or an electrical contractor, this is an area where people, they're having coffee and breakfast with a group of people. They talk about their experience. They bring up your company. So we get a ton of referrals that way, and you're always incentivized to take care of your customers. I think in this day and age with the advent of easy online access and buy stuff and buy things over the internet, sometimes that personal customer service is lost to the point where that's a big focus for us. So the referral market, treating people correctly, and like you mentioned, that the reason why we can offer the pricing that we do is because, again, the volume we're buying at, the niche market, we're not trying to sell them all kinds of other electrical stuff, just lighting. So that definitely gives us an advantage price-wise.
Yep, I've seen over 300 five-star reviews online with you guys out there. You've completed hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs. We're talking about jobs that are on time, on budget. I mean, that's really what you're known for. Jason, you are one of the premier LED companies there in Iowa. You have bright ideas that boost any business. Each client becomes part of the Sittler family. Is this rewarding work for you, that you've taken over what your father began?
No question. I always, when you're growing up, and I didn't know a lot about the business, that my father had done. I knew what he did. I wasn't involved as far as working there when I was in high school. Had some other sales-oriented jobs, but nothing with SITLER'S. And having that family connection and a family business is 100% important. So, one of the things that people ask what I do, we're very proud that the company's been in business since 1977. It hit me a few years ago that, I'm 48 years old, but somebody says, how long have you been doing this? And I think at the time it was 15 years. And then I kind of realized that my dad owned the business for 12 years. And so I'd actually been involved in the company longer than he had. And, now, like I said, it's going on 23 years. So it's, we take a lot of pride in that. And that kind of, plays into all the things we do and how we can maintain and treat our customer base.
A great story. I thought it was a great story to share with our viewers out there and describe what you guys do out there. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen. What you're going to see is their website. On the website, you're going to see a wide variety of products they can offer you. You can also see what location of their 4 is closest to you. And if you're outside the area, they ship nationwide. So be it a convenience store, a school, car dealership, industrial, agricultural, you name it, they will light the way to decreased energy usage that will save you money. Once again, that is SITLER'S LED Supplies, bright ideas since 1977. This is Gary Atensa with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.